Hey, we're here in Indianapolis where I live and John lives also to talk about this next episode of the art assignment.
That's right, and as you can see, we're in front of this big Kurt Vonnegut mural, something I really relate to, being an author and everything.
Now, this use of Kurt Vonnegut is something a lot of people can relate to. It's an iconic image. People love his writing and his image. And this artist has appropriated or made something new from the popularity of his image.
That's true. It's a little bit like my book, The Fault in Our Stars, which now is a major motion picture.
So the artist we're going to talk about today does something similar. Let's go take a look, John.
All right, sounds good.
Hi, I'm Bron Loverich, and this is the art assignment.
So one way in which my artwork deals with cultural icons that have been appropriated and then changed in some way to make my own artwork is this project Ed Ruscha Online. In Ed Ruscha Online, I'm taking the artwork of a painter, Ed Ruscha, and taking his format and updating it to sort of a contemporary context. So these text-based paintings that he uses describe his surroundings in California where he lives and works. But for me, I'm making Photoshopped versions of these paintings using the vernacular of the internet generation.
So my own work deals with taking cultural artifacts and incorporating them into an art practice might often be a part of a site-specific piece or public piece that takes the place that's created to inform the context and the content of the work. But other projects might take more recognizable, broad pop cultural references and use that artwork. For instance, a show like Battlestar Galactica, which you've probably seen. No? Okay, let me explain. So, season 1, episode 1, there's, you see outer space, and there's one ship docking to a space station, and there's an overlay of text. And then after all that, it just cuts away, and that's how the whole series ends. I know, right? So that's one example of using a cultural reference and that's sort of lowbrow sci-fi, but that I absolutely love, and reinterpreting it within this art context.
So now it's time for your art assignment. It's called Remake, and what I want you to do is take any piece of culture that you really, really love, and I want you to remake it just using the materials around you. You could take your favorite word and somehow make your own interpretation of that word. Take your favorite Simpsons episode and remake it with you and your friends, anything like that. I mean, it's really sort of the sky's the limit. Anything highbrow or lowbrow.
Remake it using whatever you can find. If you think you need a high production Hollywood budget, you don't. Just look around and see what you've got. If you need a wig, but all you have is a t-shirt, use that. If you need to make a soundtrack, just use your voices. It's just as good.
Remake it to the best of your ability and send it in, because I'd like to see what you can come up with. So I really like this art assignment. I mean, I think it gets its power from the same place that like memes get their power, and something that the internet culture is really, really good at, in that, you know, there's these vast hordes of people online that all have the same reference point, these cultural icons, that then they can shift and change to make it, make their own jokes, essentially. So this is one that I'm actually really excited about.
So it sounds like what you're talking about is what we might call appropriation, which it's hard to talk about appropriation without talking about Marcel Duchamp. So Marcel Duchamp famously exhibited a piece called Fountain, in which he took a pre-made urinal, signed it R. Mutt, and exhibited it.
So he just took a urinal, and because he said it's art, now it's art?
That's right, because it's more about the context and the intent and how it's shown in this case.
So yeah, a lot of people know about this fountain. It's a very, very famous piece of artwork, but he has another less famous piece, which is LHOOQ.
Wait a minute, what does that stand for?
Well, it's a pun, which in French actually translates to "she has a hot ass." I thought you'd get a kick out of that. But so, Duchamp in this piece took a postcard of the Mona Lisa, drew a mustache on it,
and thus took this huge cultural icon that everybody's seen, this great Da Vinci masterpiece, and made it something entirely new, just with a few simple actions. So, I mean, I've heard of Duchamp. I know he was really active in the early 1900s, but is there just anybody that's doing this type of work now? I mean, we talk about the internet, so...
Sure, John. So take an artist like Kara Hearn. So she makes videos all by herself in which all the production, filming, acting, costumes, every bit of detail is made by her. So her reincarnated scenes, for instance, she'll take a very famous movie clip, like from E.T., for instance, in which she recreates scene by scene by herself every single still from E.T. She plays every character, she uses props that are easily available on hand, and she makes these videos that seem awkward and empathetic and sort of pathetic at the same time. In really sweet ways that make you want to laugh and cry at them.
Huh. Well, I really love E.T., so can we just watch one of these right now?
Sure,
All
I'd
right.
be okay with that.
Let's do this. Let's pause the production for a second.
All right. So I decided for my art assignment, for my remake project to remake one of my favorite web series, The Art Assignment. Series? Doesn't make any sense. Series, it's just series. It's already plural. How do you know when you're finished? All right.
What's a singular of series?
Siri.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I decided for my version of the remake project to remake an episode of one of my favorite web series. I started thinking about series.
Yeah.
God, I'm laughy again. So I decided for my version of the remake project to remake an episode of my favorite web series, The Art Assignment. That's all I needed to say, I think. But you should have done this. You're a better talker than
We
me.
can switch back.
Left off. Okay. So the art assignment. So every episode of the art assignment has the artist giving an assignment to the viewers, and all these viewers online go out and create their version of it, which they can post on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on all over the internet. On the MySpace and
Tumblr.
the Tumblrs,
Tumblers and
the hippity hop.
what's it do?
And yeah, what else do we say here? Okay. Intent and how it's shown in this case. He we'll edit this part out.
This is the part we can switch maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah, we definitely could. Sorry, I had a train of thought and I lost it.